is the GRC Racers 3-pack number 2. The third and final Mini Racers GRC 3-pack we have to take a look at here on the channel. And it's got some pretty cool cars in it. Miguel Camino is making his debut to the Mini Racers line with his first ever Mini Racer, this GRC variant right here. Todoroki is getting his second Mini Racer ever, following up the previous Carbon Racer variant, one of the most famously strange Mini Racers ever made. And of course we have Jackson Storm. Super cool to see the Cars 3 racers interacting with the Cars 2 ones. And while I'm usually not a big fan of Expanded Universe Jackson Storms, the images that I've seen for GRC Jackson Storm have me really hyped to see what his Mini Racer looks like. It's been really fun getting to take a look at all of these Mini Racer GRC cars, especially because I only have the 155 scale releases of McQueen and Francesco. I get to have this cool early preview at what the rest of the line is going to look like by taking a look at these cars for the first time in Mini Racer form, and I'm super excited to conclude my reviews of these GRC 3-packs. Anyway guys, welcome back to another review and to another Mini Racers review. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the GRC Racers 3-pack number 2, of course. This is the last Mini Racers 3-pack that I need to review for 2024. Crazy. There's not been all that many Mini Racers out this year, of course. The main releases we've gotten have been these GRC cars here. And of course, on the back, you've got Shu, Miguel, and Jackson Storm. This pack has actually already been confirmed to be re-releasing for 2025. It's out in the first wave of 2025 Mini Racers, so if you miss it this year, you will be able to pick it up alongside a new GRC 3-pack, which is GRC 3-pack number 4, which includes, I believe, McQueen, Carlo Veloso, and that super weird GRC Mater, because, you know, can't have a Cars line without Mater interfering with events, I guess. Let's see, who do we take a look at first? I think we'll start off with Jackson. Now, like I said at the start of the review, I'm usually not the biggest fan of Expanded Universe Jackson Storms. I feel like Mattel often struggles with giving him unique designs, but I gotta say, I absolutely love how this GRC Jackson looks. When I first saw him in 155 scale form announced on the 2024 poster, I was honestly really bored by how he looked. I was just not all that interested. But as soon as I saw some people get him in hand, I was like, hold up, this looks really cool. And it immediately became one of my favorite Jackson Storm variants ever. And honestly, it's one of the GRC cars I'm most excited to get. I know that's kind of weird that in a line of all these super cool returning World Grand Prix cars, I really want to get the Jackson Storm, but I'm serious, guys. For years, I've been so disappointed by all the Expanded Universe Jackson Storm designs. This one is easily one of my favorite Jacksons we've ever gotten. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm immediately disappointed by the Mini Racer because it looks like we got a bit of a scuff there on ours, some sort of paint scuff or printing error. Actually, that looks like a three-dimensional piece sticking out. Maybe I can remove that. Do I have like something small and thin? Can I take like the thumbtack off my wall and try to get that out of his eye? That might be a good idea. Let's see. Okay, so I did exactly what I said I would. I took a thumbtack and very, very carefully poked Jackson Storm in the eye and got that piece out. And now we can take a nice, better look at him. I've really been praising these GRC cars for how well they take pre-existing characters and give them these cool, modern updates that combine the concepts of their previous designs with new ideas regarding the GRC. I really love how all the GRC cars have things that sort of make them uniform. They all have GRC logos and this hexagon pattern. Many of them add black, white, or blue, or all of those colors to their color schemes, but they also all are able to keep their own identities. I do think that it makes these cars kind of not match very well as a whole sometimes. Like these three could totally be from completely different racing leagues, but on their own, each of these items really stand out and are really, really great. Jackson here has a very nice facial expression, very in character for him. I can't quite tell if we've seen this on a Jackson Mini before, but I believe it is an exclusive new expression. It seems like all these GRC Minis actually have exclusive expressions, which is pretty cool. We've got the GRC logo there in blue, replacing where Jackson's Igniter logo usually is, and the blue line kind of stretches down here, which is super cool. You guys know I love a good pattern that carries over all the way across the car, and the GRC items are full of those. Jackson, like all the other items in the line, has this hexagon pattern. That's the one thing that's really uniform with all these GRC cars. They all have this concept of a very subtle hexagon pattern stretching from the back to the front. I think on some of the mini racers, it's pretty hard to see. Like Miguel here, it's really not all that noticeable, at least on the top. But yeah, on the 155 scale version of these items, definitely looks pretty great. And on Jackson, it looks pretty great. It stands out really well here. A lot of the GRC cars have a sort of color fading thing going on, and I really like that Jackson actually has that, going from a lighter gray to a darker gray. We have this massive Jackson Storm S logo with the GRC inside of it here, and we have his secondary sponsors. Looks like he's swapped them out for the ones that we see on Francesco, meaning that's right, we now have a Canon Jackson Storm sponsored by Ravioli. Incredible, amazing, spectacular, show-stopping, best thing I've ever seen, car of the year 2024. Thank you, Mattel. We've got the GRC 20 there, and he does still have the Igniter sponsorship down there, of course. And I can't quite tell all the sponsors, but it looks like, is that a Piston Cup logo, or is that just, like, doesn't it look a little like a Piston Cup logo? I don't know. I'll have to wait until I see the normal one to figure it out, but super cool to see there. Of course, the normal Jackson is gray in the front and black in the back with some blue on him. Here, they replace the black in the back with some blue instead, and it looks pretty cool. I love the colors we got here with the fading gray color scheme and the blue in the back, and I really like that nice light blue that we see on a lot of GRC items, really used as a great accent color for Jackson here. Moving on to the back, it says Global Racers Cup, and I'm very happy to see they didn't give him his rookie stripes, which is always nice to see. Nice bit of continuity there. We've also got some nice Lightyear tires with those blue highlights there once again. Very cool looking Jackson Storm for sure. Moving on over to Shu Todoroki. Shu is one of those GRC cars that looks just different enough, in my opinion. If you're not a hardcore cars fan, you may look at this and go, oh, what's different about him? But there certainly are a lot of big differences, of course, primarily in terms of the fact that they added a whole lot of dark gray to him, especially here on the front. Now, the first thing I noticed about this Shu when I brought our original one down here, let me just, wow, he's really dusty. Oh no, Shu, what happened, buddy? Shu is one of those items, excuse me while I remove the dust. Shu is one of those items that I never really use in videos, so poor guy. Ends up getting a little dusty sometimes. One of the first things I noticed is that this part down here is back to being white, which is not correct. That was something on the original Shu Todoroki diecast that was quickly corrected, but it seems like here that is a stylistic choice. It's part of it is white and other parts of it are gray with that nice blue highlight. Got some more gray there, and Shu's dragon design is actually completely different. This is like what I said with Max Schnell in the last review, and it's also very similar to what we'll see with Miguel. Yeah, this looks like, from a distance, just a regular Shu Todoroki, but up close, it definitely has a whole lot of changes, and I love just how subtle some of those changes are. They're simple changes that give the car its own unique identity. Simple things like giving him the dragon design over here instead of back here, you know, just these fun little things that add to the car. And in the grand scheme of things, when you add all of these little changes together, it makes a car that looks pretty different to the original Shu, but still looks just like how you would expect Shu to look. And I think that's what the GRC line does so successful with a lot of these releases. Great updates that look very different, but still look like the character. Having all those little things come together to make big change. Love those red wheels on him. GRC absolutely nailed wheel colors, guys. We've got a few secondary sponsors there. Just looks like the same ones. They just used the sponsors they made for Francesco on all these other characters. Those are sponsors originally originating from Cars 2. You can see that blue stripe continues over here. We've got the GRC logo going on. Hexagon pattern on Shu as per usual. His white fades into gray, and we've got a dragon design that's pretty similar to the regular one, except as you can see, The mini racer does kind of cause this to be cut off. I know I said earlier that it looks like they put the red here instead of back here, but nope, the red in the back is still present. It's just very, very thin and kind of cut off by the shaping of the mini racer. We'll have to see what that looks like on the regular release, but still, I like that they added in more of that red there. Global Racers Cup written there, number 7 there. Nothing going on the back, but it does look pretty nice. There's a look at the other side, and there is a look at the base. Miguel Camino is, in my opinion, one of the weaker GRC items, honestly. I mean, he certainly gets bonus points here because this is his first ever mini racer, and he looks absolutely on point. Like, this is a perfect translation of the character. The mini racers rarely get it wrong with molds these days, and all of the World Grand Prix racers have been looking amazing. Miguel is certainly no exception, but to me, this is simply an item where I wish they made more changes to him. The hoods on these two guys are practically identical. I didn't even realize he has a Global Racers Cup logo there. I would have liked to have seen some bigger change there. It does look like they made some changes here. Of course, this logo is much smaller to accommodate for the hexagons, and these sort of parts over here now have a black sort of box outline like the parts on the other side. But I really can't tell if that's just the mini racer adapting Miguel's design or if those are intentional design changes. Like, you could say, oh, there's the black square here is bigger on the mini Miguel. No, not really. It's just them adapting the black square on the side of regular Miguel, you know? Easily the thing that fans have been really excited with for Miguel here is the black spoiler. This is really the main thing I've seen people excited for. The original Miguel Camino diecast infamously has a red spoiler, which is not accurate to the movie. In the movie, he's got a black spoiler, and the GRC decided to do this for this design, which people have been very happy about. They also corrected his windows, believe it or not. In the movie, I'm pretty sure that Miguel's windows are not the same color as the rest of him, and they are window colored. So yeah, they fully went out of their way to make this Miguel more movie accurate for the GRC design, and I think that's why a lot of people have been really excited about that. And while I totally agree that those are some great changes and updates, and it really makes GRC Miguel look nice, especially with that black spoiler, in my opinion, it doesn't really change enough. Like, the black spoiler and correct windows, those are things that regular Miguel should have had, you know? I think the main reason why people have really been liking GRC Miguel is because of those. And I think there's just not enough about him that's different on the rest of him to really make him stand out that much, in my opinion. I mean, look at the side. This is one of the only cases where I feel like the GRC design is kind of a downgrade. There's a lot going on either side of Miguel here. And for the GRC release, yeah, it's just hexagons and the GRC logo. That's definitely kind of a shame because Miguel has such great ornate designs on him, and those ornate designs are something they were able to keep on Carla and on Shu and Raul, but not Miguel, unfortunately. He just kind of got overtaken by that hexagon design. I feel like Shu and Carla are really able to incorporate the more techie hexagon design with their traditional art on the sides. But for Miguel, no, it's hexagons here, traditional art here, and I wish that they had just, I don't know, done something more with him here. But hey, the spoiler looks nice, the mold looks great. It's a really good Miguel Camino, and the benefit of him being pretty similar to the original release is that this is our only mini racer Miguel Camino, so you could definitely use it as a stand-in for a World Grand Prix one, honestly. Yeah, just wish there were more changes going on here. Number 5 was pushed to the back. Even that, like, there's just so much open space on the side. You could have moved the 5 to where it was on the original. He does have the additional black dotted pattern that we see on a lot of these characters, which is nice to see. And the back looks pretty cool, but I think I would have preferred if they had made the back all black here instead of just having it match the original Miguel. Yeah, Miguel is honestly kind of disappointing to me, a case where I simply wish they had made some more changes with the character. Just making the spoiler and the windows the correct color doesn't really cut it for me, because like I said, that's something they should have done with Miguel from the first place. But that doesn't mean I don't like this item. I want to shout out the wheels real quick. They look sick. As a whole, this Miguel looks really, really, really nice. But I do feel that they just should have done a bit more with him, considering how much they did for all the other GRC cars. And there you have it, guys. I've now reviewed every GRC racer in Mini Racers form, except for that Metallic McQueen and Mater, who I'm not counting because he's not a racer. I don't really know which of these is my favorite. Honestly, despite the fact that I've really given some deep opinions on some of these items, I'm saving my full thoughts for my reviews on the 155 scale items. Then, and only then, will I decide which of these is my favorite. Just because I was a little harsh on Miguel doesn't mean I don't like him. I honestly think he's probably the best looking mini racer in this 3-pack. He looks really, really great. I just think from the design standpoint of a GRC car, they should have done a little more. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.